Hey everyone, and welcome to the Pronoun Playbook. Today, we're going to build the ultimate guide for you to write way smarter and clearer sentences. Ready to level up your writing game? All right, let's get right into it.
So, let me ask you something. You ever find yourself writing and you realize you're using the same name again and again and again? It starts to sound a little, well, repetitive, doesn't it?
I mean, just look at the sentence. Sasha saw Sasha's friend, and Sasha waved to Sasha's friend. Whoa, that is a lot of Sashas in one go. It just sounds clunky and kind of awkward. There's got to be a better way to say that, right?
And guess what? There is. This brings us to our mission, mastering the secret weapon for all-powerful writing, pronouns. Seriously, think of these as the super tools that are going to clean up our sentences and make them flow so much better.
So, what in the world is a pronoun? Well, it's actually pretty simple. A pronoun is just a word we use in place of a noun. Its number one job is to stop us from sounding like a broken record, just like we did with poor Sasha.
Okay, let's start filling up our playbook. We're going to begin with our first two tools, one for pointing things out and another one for asking all the important questions.
First up, demonstrative pronouns. I like to call these your pointer words. Why? Because they act just like your finger, pointing directly at a specific person or a thing. You know, like when you say, "This is a great song."
And you know the best part? There are only 4 of them to remember. That's it. This, that, these, and those. So simple, right? We use this and these for things that are close by, and that and those for stuff that's a little farther away. Okay, now here's where things get interesting, because this is where people sometimes get tripped up. But don't worry, sometimes these words are pronouns, but sometimes they're adjectives. So what's the secret? A pronoun stands alone. It replaces the noun completely. But an adjective always needs a noun buddy right next to it. See the difference? Those are ripe oranges versus those oranges are ripe.
All right, let's grab our next tool, interrogative pronouns. These are your absolute essential asking words. You pretty much can't ask a question without using one of them.
And here's the whole team, ready to ask some questions. Who, whom, which, what, and whose. They help you ask things like, what is everyone talking about? Or, whose turn is it?
And hey, that exact same rule we just learned applies here too. In Which is Neha's book, the word which is all by itself, so that makes it a pronoun. But in Which some was easier to solve, which has its noun buddy, some, right there. So in that case, it's an adjective. See? It's the same pattern. So how can you be sure every single time? Easy. Just use the pronoun detective test. It's a super simple check. Step 1, find your word. Step 2, look at the word that comes right after it. Is it a noun? If yes, you've got yourself an adjective. Is it a verb, like is or are? If yes, then congratulations, you've found a pronoun.
All right, playbook check. Next up, we've got a whole category that's about ownership. Let's talk about possessive pronouns.
These are the words we use to show that something belongs to someone. They answer that classic question, whose is it? So instead of saying something clunky like, that book is Mohan's book, you can just say, that book is his. So much cleaner.
And here we go again, another classic showdown. Possessive pronoun versus possessive adjective. But you already know the rule, right? The pronoun replaces the noun and stands alone. The book is mine. But the adjective needs its noun buddy right beside it. This is my book. See how my needs book? That's the whole secret.
Okay, time to level up with some real power-up pronouns. These next tools can do some really cool things, like bounce the action back onto someone or even glue entire sentences together.
Let's meet the super self words. These are all the pronouns that end in self or selves. Myself, herself, themselves, you get the idea. These words are extra special because they can actually do 2 different jobs.
Check out their 2 superpowers. First, when they're reflexive, the action of the sentence reflects right back on the subject. In they blame themselves, who did they blame? Themselves. It's like the action is a boomerang. But when they're emphatic, they're just there to add emphasis, kind of like a verbal exclamation point. In I myself wrote the notice, you could take myself out and the sentence would still make sense. It just adds that extra power.
And now for our final and maybe most powerful tool of all, relative pronouns.
These are the ultimate sentence glue. Their job is to take two short, choppy little sentences and just smoothly join them into one awesome, more complex sentence.
So here's your sentence glue kit. The main ones you'll use are who for people, which for animals and things, and that is kind of an all-purpose one. We can take two simple sentences and, with just one little word, like who, we glue them into one longer, more professional-sounding sentence. It's pretty cool, right?
Wow, we have covered so much ground today. You've officially built out your pronoun playbook. Let's do a quick power-up recap of all the awesome new tools you have in your grammar toolkit.
In your grammar toolkit, you now have demonstrative pronouns, your pointing words, interrogative pronouns, your asking words, possessive pronouns, your ownership words like mine and hers and ours, the super self words for reflecting action and adding emphasis, and last but not least, relative pronouns, your powerful sentence glue.
And that's it. You've mastered the playbook. You have every tool you need to get rid of that repetition and build stronger, smarter, and way more interesting sentences. So what are you waiting for? Go make your writing amazing.